Harrison, welcome to the show.
What's going on, dude? I feel like you're like a game announcer after hearing that intro. I feel like I should be wearing a jersey. Should you be calling out the whole team's name?
Let's go.
I don't know.
Dude, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me. It's a gift to be here. It'd be fun.
It's an honor to have you on the show.
Yeah.
All right. So before we begin, icebreaker question.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right.
Now, if your college years were a movie title, what would the movie be?
Probably freaking boring. Probably just boring. Yeah. I really don't I feel like I did so much stuff during my college years that I was just like,
yeah.
I went from college, like from classes to internship to work, and then to go see my girlfriend. That was literally pretty much it.
Yeah.
And pulled some long nights to try to go on hunting trips. That was it. It was not like there wasn't anything sparkle about it. I mean, I don't have a good title. I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I did that because it was not that fun.
Now you were actually on the mission field when we called you about doing SEU Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where were you at?
I was in El Salvador. Yeah.
El Salvador.
So I did my first part of college there.
El Salvador getting a lot of press these days.
Yeah, bro. No kidding. No kidding. So it was way different then.
So you're in El Salvador.
Yep, I was in El Salvador. Pretty much what had happened was I had kind of gone to finish high school. And in my junior year, I thought for sure after doing some mission work every summer for the few summers before that, that I was going to be studying biology to get to become a PA. And then I was going to do some kind of medical mission type thing. But that was kind of I was probably in my mind, if I go back to my picture perfect world, this is my picture perfect world as a 16-year-old. Okay. It was, if I could just go study biology to PA, because I enjoyed biology.
Okay.
And my parents were like,
really?
If you enjoy biology, you probably should look into that as maybe something to do, because most people, that's not something you enjoy. So,
bro, I could have absolutely saw you as a game warden.
Right? Yeah, no shot, bro. I hate those people too much.
I know, but getting to live outside every day on the water.
Yeah. No, so I was going to study biology to be a PA.
Okay.
And in my world, I was like, oh man, I'll get 4 weeks vacation and I'll do all of it, you know, and missions and all that stuff. So then basically to my senior year, right? And I had already applied to all these schools that I wanted to be a part of for the bio to PA. They could do a fast track 4+1 to get your master's and do that. And basically at the end of my junior summer, I had applied earlier in the junior year or whatever. At the end of my junior summer, I was on a 6-week trip in Central America to 5 different countries.
Okay.
And I just felt like the Lord placed it on my heart after this opportunity was presented to come spend a year in El Salvador in a discipleship school, doing Bible college and stuff like that. Uh-huh. And I came back and I told my parents what I was feeling. And they were like, well, let's simmer down, let's get you back integrated into life after 6 weeks away as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we prayed. And by the deadline, I made the decision to go. And what happened was I called every single one of the schools I had been accepted to. Okay. And I had been given at least half coverage scholarship to all of them. Some of them was a little bit more, but not any more than 3/4. I called every single one of them. I was like, hey, so I'm going to be taking a gap year. What is the procedure for me coming back after the gap year? Because I still would like to go to school here, potentially, And they call me and they're like, hey, this is great. We love when people take a gap year. We'll hold your scholarship.
They are totally lying.
We'll hold your scholarship so long as you commit to not enroll in any other university or college during that time.
Oh, clever.
Which is, I thought, looking back, I'm like, oh, bro, brilliant.
Mad flex.
They could be excited about it all day because
we need your non-committal committal of the committal.
Exactly, dude. So I'm sitting there, I'm hoping that I can take it. But I know in the back of my head that part of this year program that I'm going to do requires me to do part-time Bible college online. And with an accredited university, the whole 9.
Yeah.
And so the moment they said that, my heart dropped because I knew that I needed to go to El Salvador. I knew that was a non-negotiable at this point.
That's what God called you to do.
So I dropped all of the 3 schools that I had taken with the scholarships and everything, and I just went to El Salvador.
What were these 3 schools? Just for
High Point.
Okay.
High Point University, South Carolina.
Okay.
University of South Carolina. I was actually going to do a bio to nurse practitioner.
Okay.
And then Lenore and Hickory.
Okay.
So those were the 3 schools I was really interested in. And I mean, I competed for scholarships at all these schools. Yeah. And then I called them and was like, hey.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to go anymore. So did that. And then 3 months in is when I got contacted by you guys. And I had actually seen I think it was Instagram or something that you guys started. Okay. And then I heard from you guys, and I was like, well, I'm doing this ministry thing, so I might as well apply, and it's freaking cheap. So, so I ended up, I think you approved me in a week. I don't know if that says more about how many students you needed, or if that, or what that says.
You were just a perfect candidate.
Yeah,
Harrison.
Sure.
Now you were definitely enrolled in the early days. And I say early days because I was still a children's pastor. Justin was a youth pastor. Emma was doing enrollment. And
a lot of people don't even know Justin and Emma are, who are probably listening to this. They don't have any idea who they are.
So you were definitely in the early days, man. One of the.
I think I was the third graduate.
Yeah, you were one of our first graduates.
Yeah, I think it was the third graduate.
For sure.
So it was a good time. It was a wild time.
So what drew you? Because you were accepted to these other institutions, and there's plenty of great Christ-centered institutions out there. What made you say yes to SEU?
So I think the first thing was that after my first 3 months in El Salvador, where I heard from you guys, or I saw whatever it was first. I don't remember if it was Instagram posts, and then I heard from you guys later or whatever. Yeah. But you guys here, or there were various people here at SEU Carolina who knew that I was gone and that I was doing ministry stuff in another country. So I think probably I came to their mind or whatever, and it just lined up. But whenever they were presenting it to me, a couple of things that stuck out just right off the bat was that as soon as I come home, I have a place to land where I can start doing ministry, because it was the hands-on kind of ministry experience that still stands today for SEU Carolina. Yeah. And it was at the church that I was already involved in before I left for. Yeah. So it was that ministry involvement, because at that point I was feeling kind of the call of God in my life to do full-time ministry. Yeah. And then it was price right after that.
Were you?
Those were the first.
Affordability.
Affordability, 100%.
Now. Yeah. Relationship question.
Okay.
Were you already dating Gracie at the time?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't recommend to everyone. I asked her out a month and a half before I left.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was kind of a dirty play. So pretty much I was just like, man, I'm gonna try to lock her down before I leave.
Well, at least you got a ring out of it.
It was it was a little bit like I had approached it from the perspective of like, obviously that's super selfish if I just go in and say, hey, my girlfriend, and then be like, yes, and then leave.
Now, but did you get married after graduation? I was like,
yeah. Wait,
did you get married before or after graduation?
I never walked for graduation, so that's why it was throwing me for a loop. So I technically graduated like end of spring 2020, and we got married in October of 2020.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was crazy. So anyways, whenever I asked Gracie out, I pretty much was like, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? Also, I understand if you don't, because I'm literally about to leave in 45 days to go, and I'm going to be away for a year, and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to talk to you. And whenever I do talk to you, the signal might be so bad that it might not even, I just didn't know. And so she said yes. So I was like, all right, cool.
Now, you guys, how long have y'all been married?
5 years in October.
5 years.
5 years in October.
Let's go. So, and you have a 2-year-old?
Yeah, almost 2. Yep, in May. In May she'll be 2.
Okay, and you're also expecting.
Yeah, we're expecting. So October.
Look at that.
So we'll have Hallie, my daughter. She'll be 2.5 whenever the baby comes along. Okay. In October, and it's literally the due date is a day after our anniversary. So
I love it anytime we get the chance to connect with alumni from the university and just see where they are today. And it's so good to see you happily married and raising such a beautiful family. And there's nothing like being both a husband and a father as one myself.
And for those of you who don't know, I go way back with Kevin because college days, but then right after college days, I worked at Multiply Church for 5 years right after college.
Yeah, hot minute.
And so, we've been around for a while.
We have great history. Which is interesting because your time here concludes 10 of my 13 years here. So, because I've been here 13 years.
Oh, shoot. That's crazy.
Yeah, this Easter.
No way. I didn't know that.
So, question. If you had to pick one defining moment from your college years, what would it be?
That's a great question. One defining moment from my college years.
If you have one, since it was so boring.
No. There were plenty of moments. I'm just saying, like, the way you framed that initial question was like, it seemed like there was like supposed to be something behind the curtain, and like I went to work, I had my internship, and I did my
just
homework.
Normal life.
Like
not everyone does their homework, Harrison. So that's
I know.
That's
I learned that because I'm also an adjunct professor now, and I learned that really quickly that not everybody does their homework.
This is true.
So so defining moment I think would be my last 2 semesters, my senior year. And so also more context, I did a year of Bible college in El Salvador.
Okay.
I brought some college credits from high school. Okay. And then I tested out of Spanish.
Yeah.
And so I basically came in and I only had to do 2.5 years of school with SEU Carolina.
Oh, you tested out of Spanish?
Yeah, I did. Tested out of Spanish.
Can you speak Spanish?
Yeah, I do speak Spanish, believe it or not. I'm pretty white. I'm pretty pasty, but I do speak Spanish. So,
remember that time?
And so actually, this is funny. About a week and a half ago, I was in Costa Rica doing something very similar to this on a radio, but it was all in Spanish. So
really?
Yeah,
so
man.
You've done a radio podcast in Spanish?
I've done 2 radio podcasts in Spanish.
So also, throwback.
Okay.
Do you remember this?
Oh, gosh.
We're in Cuba.
Oh, man. Yes, I remember.
I'm preaching and you're interpreting for me. In fact, you were like the designated interpreter.
I was the interpreter for that entire trip. I don't remember.
Bro, you were throwing down. You were speaking some Spanish.
Yeah, I was kicking it. Kicking it. I remember you were working an illustration with a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Sleeping bag, because it was talking about pick up your mat and walk or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is a difference people don't understand all the time, but like there's a difference between just like translating and then interpreting. Okay. So translating could be just like word for word. I'm just telling you I'm just telling everybody what Kevin's saying. Interpreting would be, I'm trying to get the sentiment of what Kevin's saying along with the words. And so Kevin lay down, he would lay down on the mat, and guess what I was doing?
Yeah, you were laying right down.
Laying right beside him.
It was incredible because I was preaching my heart out, but you were matching me step for step, toe for toe, preaching your heart out.
Yeah.
And definitely one of the most, I know we're talking about defining moments in your college years.
Well, that would be a significant one. Yeah.
But for me, it was a defining moment in my time in ministry because I got to do ministry with one of our students and we're doing the gospel, reaching people and of a different language, a different culture and a different context and a different community, but yet the gospel's the gospel. Yep.
Well, here's the cool thing. I think like, that looking back where I am exactly in this moment now, that had to have been a defining moment for me too. It was by requisite of what it was, it had to be because of the job that I end up doing now. And I look back and I didn't know it for years. And then now I do know it. This is crazy because I was in Costa Rica doing that radio show.
Yeah.
And then I was also preaching in churches.
Yeah.
Which is just wild. And I had these thoughts back to those times whenever I was doing stuff like that in my formational years that would have been that. So, but I don't even think I ever answered your question. So that would be one, but the other one would be this, that as soon as I was about to graduate and the job opportunity came about in Multiply, I had 3 years prior while I was in El Salvador, 2.5 years prior while I was in El Salvador, I had, in a time of prayer, I had written down the exact thing that I wanted God to give me as a job. And I thought it was my dream job ever. Okay. And I wrote down job description. I wrote down all of it to a T. When I got the job description, we had the conversation about what the job would be, it ticked off 90% of the things that I put. And it was almost as if God was telling me, oh, you thought you were dreaming big whenever you wrote that down.
Yeah.
Just wait. Because every single time that I've had a transition in my life, it's been just like that. The thing that I thought I was dreaming big for, God blew it out of the water. And he was like, oh, you thought you were going to get that in 15 years? Oh, well, you're going to have that now. So you better rethink your dreams and stuff.
Now, for our listeners who may not know, I know, we know what you're talking about. So tell us about this place that you're talking about that God led you to after graduation regarding that job description. But tell us where you're at now, what you do. And
So I'll walk through kind of the history of it hitting that right after graduation. I started, I was doing an internship. At that point, I had done 2.5 years of internships, and I had landed working with the senior pastor, Dr. Doug Witherup, in an internship there. But previously, before that, I had done 1.5 years in the missions office. Now, with Pastor Gwen Stowers. Now, I had like done an internship then. And then whenever I switched to internship with Pastor Doug, I was brought on part-time in the missions office. So I was still doing both.
Yeah.
And during my time in El Salvador, I had written down basically what would have been a missions pastor role.
Yeah.
Overseeing trips, developing teams, leading leaders, that type of stuff.
And there you are doing it.
And there immediately after graduation, that was the job that they offered me.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It was even more than that because that's how God works. It was that plus some that I wouldn't have imagined. And so that happened. I did that for about 2 years. And then I switched over to a chief of staff role with Pastor Doug. Yeah. So I went to the missions office full time after my internship and graduation. And then I came back to Pastor Doug and worked with him for 2.5 years.
Did some executive pastoral leadership stuff.
Some executive level stuff, organizational stuff. And it was great. And then I finished, I left that role, transitioned out.
You realize we were both on executive at the same time.
Absolutely.
You remember that?
Yeah. For a while.
That is wild.
For a while. It was crazy.
That is wild.
It was crazy.
And it was wild for me because here I am looking at a student who is gone from being a student to being a graduate to now being in executive leadership.
Yep.
And so profound and rewarding.
Yeah. And those are the types of things I mean is like every time that I thought I was at the thing that God had told me he was going to take me to, it was way of a higher calling, way more responsibility than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And it was as if God was saying to me, no, just wait. Like you need to dream a little bit bigger. You need to think a little bit higher. And then now I work with Billy Graham Evangelistic Association.
Okay.
And I am the senior manager of the online evangelism in Spanish of all of Billy Graham.
Let's go.
So that's why I say El Salvador, Cuba, all of these things all of this stuff pushes to what God said. And he keeps blowing my mind and blowing expectations out of the water. So it's been really, really, really cool.
That's incredible. So. Speaking of defining moments, do you remember that time where I didn't make it through security in Cuba?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I very much remember it. Now, I thought the trip was over.
Y'all literally told everybody, okay, when we go through security, don't act like you've never been there. Do your thing. Keep walking.
Don't talk.
Keep moving. Don't talk. Just keep moving. Yep. Get your stuff. And everything that you said don't do happened because we had to stop. They asked questions. I had no idea what they were saying. I had to bring you in, which then they were confused. Who is this guy? Why is he talking for you? And I had this like a emergency bag for like everything.
So for those of you who don't know, Kevin is a prepper. Okay, he always has been. He's ready for any situation, and that's fine in most circumstances. But in Cuba, they don't recognize all of the things that a prepper might pack in their carry-on bag that would be okay in a U.S. airport.
Now, mind you, this is a very first world problem.
Absolutely,
because I had a battery pack.
This is crazy.
I had all of these different. I had your HDMI connector, your USB-C, your like all of these different, as if we were going to need them in Cuba.
Do you remember the thing that threw them off the most?
Absolutely.
It was the little dongle.
It
was the connector from the with a lightning port to a headphone jack.
That was.
And they were so confused. They looked at it. They were like.
They thought it was a recording device. They were like, what is this?
They were like, we have no idea.
We've never seen this before.
So it gets better.
I was like, it's a dongle. How do you not know what a dongle is? How has everybody not seen a dongle in the 21st century? And then I realized that everybody's in costumes and we're in Cuba and we're playing cosplay. And this is, I'm like, this guy, I just got to explain to him, this is just a connector. It's a connector for devices. And he wasn't taking it. Is there a word dongle?
No, absolutely. Like, not that I know of.
So how would you communicate this in Spanish?
It would just be like a connector of devices.
So how would you say that in Spanish?
Un conector. Un conector is what you would say. So like you would just say it's a connector that could connect devices. And they didn't take that. And so not only, if you remember this, not only did that hold up the whole line for like at least half an hour because they were like taking everything out. They pulled us to the side.
And then they brought the military guy over.
The military guy all in green. Over. Like, they had guns, all the stuff. And I'm like, dear God. So then the other thing is that the missionary we were working with, he had told us after we, So he had told us after you get through security, just make your way outside as quick as you can. Cause the more you hang around, the more suspicious they get, like, all of that stuff. And so we do exactly that, except for everybody was waiting on Kevin and I.
Yeah.
And it would be even weirder for me to like run over, tell them to leave, and they leave, and then we come back. So we're trying to get them to go out, right? Trying to get them to go out.
Yeah.
And then eventually we get done. We're good. We go outside. No missionary.
Yeah.
He's not
No
there.
show.
There's no one to pick us up. There's no car. There's no bus. There's nothing. We get out there and we're looking around. Also, nobody has international cell service at this point in time.
No.
And we ended up having to activate it on somebody's phone. But the missionary thought we were coming at 9 p.m. You know what time it was? Do you remember this? It was 3 p.m. It was 3 p.m. And
so
he
we
thought,
were literally going to wait there till 9 o'clock.
and he got in a car. He and the pastor, Norlin, you remember this?
Yeah.
And the pastor and somebody else got in like random cars and came and picked us up. And it was like 3 hours later. But these people were like eyeing us down. They did not that we were sitting right there at their airport. And dude, that was a great trip.
That was a great trip.
It was a good start, but they didn't like the prepper.
I'll never forget too. So I was sick. In fact, I didn't even want to go on the trip. I felt like my kidney had failed, or like my pancreas had exploded, or like I had this horrible stomach, because y'all were doing this human video performance practice in the airport. I was laying on the ground sleeping because I didn't want to have nothing to do with it because I didn't feel good. I called Gwen. I was like, Gwen, I don't want to go. She said, Kevin, you need to go. This is a spiritual battle. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, Gwen, I'll get on the plane, but I feel like I'm going to die. It didn't go away when we got there. And I'll never forget it. I think y'all were painting. Y'all were painting the youth group, or like
Bro, I was not painting. I can guarantee you that I was not painting. I was talking to somebody in Spanish. I was not painting though.
So I left and went to the pastor's house. I couldn't speak a lick of English. You weren't there. I don't know where you were at, but you weren't there. And I felt so bad. I was trying to explain in English my symptoms and problems because the pastor wanted to take care of me. So he was getting his wife. And so anyway, she just pulled out this medicine bag with this medicine. And they're explaining to me what they think it is, and they're like, "You need to take this, dude." I felt so bad.
You took it.
I just took it. I was like, "Let's go." Come to find out, once I got back in the States, it was like a tablet Pepto-Bismol or something like that. But in my mind, I was like taking
some freaking knows what.
Yeah. So, dude, incredible journeys. Now, tell me this: who was a professor, mentor, or friend that had a big impact on you during your time here as a student?
Professor, mentor,
or friend, or coach, pastor. I mean, anybody. Just during your time here, who was influential in your life?
The first one that comes to mind is Pastor Gwen, because she was both professor and kind of mentor during that time that I was interning with her. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there were various ones, but Gwen from that perspective, because it was not just in the classroom.
Yeah,
it was like for me even more just doing the internship and ministry, and with that comes life together. Yeah. You know, we're walking through things, we're sharing life together, and she taught me a lot of how to try to settle and hear God's voice, regardless of the situation. And I carry that all the time. I literally thought about her the other day in Costa Rica, and I thought I should call her because I was just, I was like, you taught me a lot of the stuff that I'm, using now, even if I didn't realize it was that valuable then. And so. Another one is David Dukeson, as Prof. Dr. David Dukeson.
It's a throwback. That's a throwback.
It is a throwback. Yep. And he helped me see some new things in just in the world that I hadn't had perspective for before.
Yeah.
I remember that as being very marking.
That's one of the things that I think our students benefit from being at a small college is the exposure. The relational equity that you develop, not just with pastors, but with professors, but also with peers. You talk about how these were profound moments that you have that still stick with you today, that made an impact on you. So, question: do you remember Monday Night Mystery Bus Tour?
Monday Night Mystery Bus Tour, yes, but I only got to go one time,
or
two times. And
do you remember a location we took out? Did you go on the time? Did you go the time when we went to the ice cream place? What was that? Jenny's Ice Cream?
Yes, I did go to that one. Ice cream? Yep, I went to Jenny's. I'm trying to think of the other one.
Didn't we go bowling?
Yes, bro, bowling in a sketchy bowling alley,
dude,
in University City.
Never been there before in my life.
No, I remember that. Yeah,
I rolled up. I felt like it was a cop scene from Law and Order. It was definitely.
I was like, what are we doing here? This is so weird. Like there's literally bowling alleys all around us.
We probably passed 3.
And we went to this one in the middle of like the outskirts of Charlotte. Like it was just, anyways. Yeah. So I went to that one, Jenny's. I don't think I went to another one.
Yeah.
If I do, I'm just not remembering it.
I don't think it was a Monday Night Mystery Bus Tour, but I remember you going cliff jumping with us. You definitely were. You definitely. We've
Kerrigan Farms. Yeah. I did that. Yeah. Yeah, I did that. But those are light work. Those are light work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean those are light work?
Like, Kerrigan Farms is so safe.
Like throwback, like just.
No. Light work. It's easy. Those cliffs are not high. Like there are cliffs at the lake the other direction.
Bro, wait a second. Yeah. Now listen.
These are light. They're light work.
Kevin. The cliffs at Kerrigan Farms are significant.
They're light work.
I understand that you've done illegal cliff jumping in the area.
No, not illegal. Where's the law?
Bro,
there's no law.
Totally. We will go there and take the popo with us.
No, there is no illegal. There's
no way it's legal cliff jumping there. All right, what do you call this place?
So how do you define legal then? Because there's no law against it.
Oh, we're about to have a theological debate.
All right. So
what is
so there are 2 places.
Tell me about these places.
Tuckertown Lake you can go to. I'm gonna give it's over the bridge, turn right, and go like 2 miles down, and then you have to walk through the woods. Okay.
Spoken like a true local.
Absolutely. So grown up here my whole life. So you go over there, and those jokers are different.
How much higher? Like twice as higher than Kerrigan Farms?
So, well, it depends because Kerrigan Farms has a few different like levels you can go on. So, like the lowest one's probably the same as the highest one at Kerrigan Farms.
Okay.
Like Kerrigan Farms, I'll say it's not a small cliff jump. Like 30 feet's not a small jump, but I'm talking like 45 to 60,
but
70
if you've been
feet.
to Tuckertown, it's twice as
That's different. Now, the other part is called Granite Quarry.
Granite Quarry?
Okay, I
haven't heard of this. I've heard of Tuckertown.
Yeah. Granite Quarry is a little small town.
Okay.
About 25 minutes north of where we're at right now.
Okay.
In Concord. And there's a rock quarry there, an old rock quarry. And you can get 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up to like 100 or 110 foot cliff jump.
Is this safe?
No, there's nothing safe about it.
Have you done it?
That's why they make you sign a waiver at Kerrigan Farms. There's nothing safe about it. I haven't done the 100. I think I've done about 60 before.
Have you seen people do it?
Yeah, no, I've been there. I've been in the water.
Yeah.
When they're going to jump down because you don't know
how
they're going to land. So no, it's not safe at all.
Wow, I'm terrified right now. I
did do that during college.
Okay.
And high school.
Okay.
So that was
defining moment.
That was fun. No, it wasn't boring. I'll say that much. Like I said earlier. So we did get run off of Granite Quarry. They asked us not to come back.
I wonder why that would be.
No, he didn't say it was illegal. He said, "Let me see your license, and if you come back, we're gonna lock you up." So I took the fall. I took the fall for that one.
That does not sound like.
They said we need all of your licenses, and all of my friends were like, "We didn't bring our licenses." They're freaking liars.
All lies.
But I was the one that drove, so I had to give him my license.
Look at you.
Yeah,
like a good Christian.
Yeah, I haven't gone back after that because I do try to respect authority.
Look at that. So, what a guy.
Never went back.
Okay, so how did your time at SEU Carolina shape who you are today?
Oh, it's immeasurable. Like you just can't put a measurement on it in the sense of to say it formed me. And I don't want to be cheesy in the sense of like it formed me into the person I am today, because that's not entirely true. It was a part of what formed me into who I am today. Yeah. It's actually a small amount of time comparatively to the rest of my life. Yeah. 2.5 years is small, but it formed me in a lot of understanding of how, because I was a ministry major, how ministry worked. Yeah. But even then, it only got to a certain point, because there's only so much you can learn about ministry in particular before you're like up to your neck in it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So classroom, great. I learned so much. I think it's awesome. All right. I'm a continuing education guy. I got my master's within 2 years after my bachelor's. I want to do a PhD one day, the whole nine. I'm in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, PhD? Absolutely. No, doctorate of ministry. Nah, I'm good. Give me the research degree. Yeah. Give me the research degree.
I just got accepted.
So you did?
Yeah, into a PhD program at Southeastern. That's why.
The org leadership one? Which one? Church leadership?
The one with College of Education.
Dude, good for you, man. Yeah. Congrats.
Literally
that's a big deal.
May 7th.
That's a big deal. Good for you, dude. Yeah. No, PhD all day. I love my doctorate of ministry friends, love them to death, but I want a research degree. Yeah. So anyways, I think that there's so much that education can and should do for people going into ministry or other areas of life. Yeah. All of it's necessary. All of it's good. There are just things that you can't be totally prepared for. Mm-hmm. But what Southeastern did give me are frameworks that I could use to understand those things when they ended up happening. Yeah. I couldn't have predicted those things. Yeah. I couldn't have predicted that I would have been handed a budget of $10,000, $15,000 to steward now for this said ministry, and then to get a different ministry with more money. And now I have to learn how to do this all while pastoring people, managing money, and recognizing that it's all God's, and that weight should be on me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't you can prepare a budget in your church finance class, right? But you start seeing where it's attached to different things, and now it gets a little bit more real. So it gave me frameworks to kind of work through my life as I've processed things. And now it's like a reference point in the past to say like, oh man, I just learned this now, and that inflicted a little bit of pain, but I felt something like that. And now I think I'm starting to craft a clear picture of like how I should deal with this going forward.
That's one of the things I love about our program. It definitely gives a lot of exposure, a lot of touch points to prepare somebody. And I feel like if you do it right, you'll probably be here 2 years. Your senior year, you're already working at the place where God's called you to, and you're online and you're finishing. Yeah. So
that's what I think. Like,
and that's almost
students should hear. Correct. That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's what students should hear is like, you come here. There's a couple of things you need to know. Number one, this is not a guaranteed job. Yeah. All right. I had plenty of friends who were in college with me, and they didn't end up working at Multiply. Yeah. And I'm not saying I was better or worse than any of them. I'm just saying it didn't work. That's not the story for everybody. Mm-hmm. Many of them went on to work at other places that are fantastic. It's just how it is. Yeah. So number one, this is not a job guarantee. Number two, do not come and think you're going to be lazy and get through it and then get here and wonder why you're struggling. Okay. And number three, nothing is a handout in life. So go ahead and get over that now before you get here. So you'll get out of it what you put into it. And that's why I learned so much in college, because I had a boring time during college, because I worked a part-time job. I did an internship, which was basically another part-time job. Yeah. And I did full-time school, overloaded credit hours, 18 or 21 every single semester.
Not recommended.
Yeah, not recommended, but I did it. And that's how I finished quick. Yeah, and that was...
But I think that was a reflection of who you were as a person.
Correct, that's fair.
You had a strong work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not bringing somebody part-time on at a church before they graduate. You know what I mean? Yeah. If they don't have a strong work ethic and aren't hireable right out of the gate.
Yeah. So and that's my dad. My dad taught me that.
Yeah.
So, taught me how to work, and
let's go.
My grandpa too, he got me my first job at a landscaping company over the summer in high school one time. It was miserable, horrible. At the end of the summer, I was eating dinner with him, and he said, Harrison, now, what did you learn over the summer working landscaping? And I was like, it's a dumb question. Like, I learned a lot of things. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. Like, and he just looked across the table after he took a bite of the burger, and he said, did you learn you didn't want to do that with the rest of your life? And I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I did. I don't want to do it. But his point was like, it's okay that there are people who do that and they work hard, but you need to learn what's right for you. Yeah. And I carried that understanding of throwing bricks around and planting plants into the day-to-day now.
Yeah. So good. You got a lot of, you checked a lot of boxes right there. Words of wisdom, what you would say to an incoming student, SEU Carolina. So looking back, what's something that still sticks with you today from your time at SEU Carolina?
I think I really learned how to build relationships with people that are different than me. Mm-hmm. During my time at college, and that really has marked me as a person. So what I mean by that is that I was 21 whenever I came on part-time at the church. Yeah. And then 20, and then 21 whenever I came on full-time. Yeah. So from that point forward, I was always the youngest person in the room.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Uh-huh. From the part-time, whenever I was pulled into any meeting, I was always the youngest person in the room. Unless there was another intern who was there. Yeah. Church meetings, staff meetings, all that. I was always the youngest person in the room.
Yeah.
So it was now it wasn't just something that was like an option for you to learn to build relationships. It was required of me to be successful, that I learn these people around me and learn how to integrate myself into their lives and build friendships with them and relationships with them, even though they're 10, 15, 20, 25 years older than me. And these are the people that I'm working with. And so, and in doing so, as I built those relationships, I learned tons of valuable lessons that are just like, now I apply them. I'm with an entirely different like set of coworkers now at my new job. And I've applied the same principles because it works. It just works. And I'll say this, for that, I have a Google document in my personal Google Drive that is titled Things That I've Learned.
Really?
Okay. And anytime I feel like I learn a good principle that's helpful or anything like that, I just open it on my phone, write down the principle, tell Siri to write it down for me, talk to text or whatever. And then I'll go review it every once in a while whenever I'm just like curious about the things I learned. And you would be absolutely amazed at some of the stuff I wrote down as a senior when I did not know what I was talking about at all.
Yeah.
But I had a thought in a moment that I felt like was helpful for me then.
Yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, dude, there's no way that I would have gotten that on my own.
Yeah.
And so that's a super practical piece of advice.
I laugh because
to do that document thing.
I did the same thing growing up.
Yeah.
However,
oh gosh,
my notes were not on the computer.
Oh yeah.
They were on.
So what did you take notes on in 1950?
1950, really? God. What in the world? So my notes were on a note card. And I actually had a Rolodex that they went in. Like index.
I have never used a Rolodex in my whole life.
They actually had bins for these index cards.
Yeah, I've seen the bins.
I've
seen the bins. Yeah, I know. Kept them at.
I'm turning 40 this year. I'm super proud.
Dude.
It's hard earned.
Yeah,
How old are you?
It is.
How old are you now?
I turned 26 on Saturday.
Gosh, you're so young.
2 days ago?
26.
I turned 26 2 days ago.
Well, that's 2 days ago. Happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
Look at that.
Yeah, I was in North Dakota shooting snow geese.
Really? Legally?
Because
we know you love
totally
we know you love flying close to the sun.
I do not hunt illegally because they'll take everything you got if they catch you. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If
those game wardens that you love so much.
Oh yeah, dude. Those jokers. I love you guys. If you're watching this, I love you. But those jokers they'll get you.
So to conclude.
All right.
We're gonna do a fun rapid fire round.
Okay. Right. How much can I answer? 2 words, 3 words?
60 questions in 60 seconds.
Oh, let's go.
And we're just gonna see how far you can get.
All right. Is this like a competition? Has anybody ever got through 60?
I can't say that right now.
You can't tell me?
No, I can't tell you right now. Absolutely.
What the heck? Okay.
Because, it's an alumni challenge. I think it'd only be fair.
Somebody start the timer.
The results. What do you mean? I got the timer right here. Do you not trust me? We've been a cube together.
Just making sure. Just making sure there's a timer.
All right. So we've got a timer. I'll say ready, set, go, and then I'll ask the question. Okay. It's the first thing that comes to your mind. Mm-hmm. All right. Ready? Set. Go. Favorite color?
Blue.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Go-to karaoke song? Come on.
Oh, shoot, man. Hooked on a Feeling.
Your life song?
My life song?
Yep.
Oh, shoot, man.
Anything by Toby Keith? Come on.
Yeah, recursive, red, white, and blue. Might as well.
Yeah. Go for it. Biggest pet peeve?
Micromanaging.
Famous person for dinner?
Oh, shoot. No. Elon Musk, nowadays.
Last thing you Googled? Come on, Harrison. We're on the clock.
How much money I can save on my mortgage.
What makes your day better?
Coffee.
Texting or talking?
Talking.
Best day of the week?
Sunday.
One thing you can't live without?
My wife.
Nickname?
Harrison.
Favorite book of the Bible?
John.
Bible character?
John.
Favorite verse?
John. Mark 10:45.
Favorite pizza topping?
Cheese.
Oh, there we go. Pizza topping, cheese.
Yeah, it's classic.
Mad
dude.
Flex.
No, if you want to try like a true and like rate a good pizza, you have to have cheese.
Very true. I think
pepperoni could be different wherever you go.
Very true.
And the cheese could be too, but at least it's their choice. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's a good place if you're going to compare pizza
just
slices.
Do cheese. Just do cheese.
Cheese pizza.
Correct.
Very good.
You can like measure the sauce and how it does too. And the crust a little bit cleaner. If you get pepperonis, a lot of grease. That changes.
Do you have a pizza oven at home to where you like cook your own pizza?
No, we have one. My family has one. It's like a wood burning.
Okay.
It's really nice.
I've wanted to build one in the backyard.
Yeah. We didn't build one, but you could build one, and it would be a very nice addition to your Hawaii backyard. True.
Very true, very true.
Yeah.
You've heard it right here, folks. Harrison, we're so proud at what you're doing for the kingdom. And we're proud of what you've done since graduating. Yeah. And so keep turning the world upside down.
Yeah, doing what I can, man. Thank you guys for continuing to pour into the next generation and even having me be a part of it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you want to come take one of my classes and
absolutely.
we'll have a good time. I promise it's a good time because I'm not boring.
Awesome.
As you can probably see.
Well, you've heard it right here, folks. Thanks for tuning in.